Good evening, folks, again. Right, so now we're starting with a fresh video. Let's just see what happens here. Anybody been contacted yet? Hello again. Hello again. Getting off to a bit of a slow start today. There we are. Okay, if anybody wants to come on, try now. Anybody there? Just going to hang out for a few minutes just to see what happens. Raz, are you coming on here or not? There we go. Let's give it a go. There we go. There we go.
Wow. Crazy.
You know what it was? You know what it was?
What?
I've got screen record on, and the screen record button was at the top right of the screen.
Yeah.
When you hit it, it goes for editing. You was behind it. So every time I was hitting it, I put little blue dots on you. I had little blue dots all over, and I couldn't actually hit you because it's too busy editing it. So I had to come back out and stop screen record. So obviously you can get this video anyway, can't you? Because I worked it out the other day how to get it off of the Facebook. So I thought, well, that's great because I don't really need to screen record it. It was just like a backup.
Yeah. We've lost the viewers.
Huh?
We've lost the viewers now.
I know. Hopefully they might come back, hopefully. Do you think?
Yeah, they should do. You said to...
Yeah, I should do. I restarted it again. So we'll carry on anyway, because I know people will join us. Okay, so for the people that have seen us and watched us, I thank them. I thank them for viewing and the comments that they've made. Hopefully they can support us a bit longer, and hopefully we'll come up with interesting subjects for them. I said in the original video before I cut off, I don't know if people heard it, but for the readings, I thought to myself, we've got 3 names, and I thought, well, should we keep those names, which is great, but don't you find it'd be better for people that are actually watching? Yeah. Hi, Julie. Tracy.
We just said that once the card pull, and then they just put me, please, whatever, and then I'll do it by first come, first serve.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Well, Lily Larkin, she was on there. I don't know if she's back, but she wanted a reading. That's me mum. That card, whatever. There was an Avril that we from and then there's this Tracy Hills Hoskin that my daughter Julie wants to get a card pulled for. So we'll do Tracy because that would be nice if you can do something for that, because that's my daughter. You done her last week, and then obviously anything you say about Tracy, then it'll be on this video and she can watch it if she's not watching already. All right. So that's 2. So we'll leave that like that for now. Okay, so I've made some notes, and we've got this book that we're going to read from, or I'm going to read from quickly. And tonight's subject was about depression. And before I read from the book, I've got my views, and I know it's controversial. We all know that. Depression's, everybody's got their own idea of it. There's no blanket cure for depression. Everybody's depression is different. And certain things trigger it, and it could be grief, it could be illness, it could be break up in a relationship, losing a child. All sorts of things can cause depression. And my notes out of it, what I've got here, and what I think are important things, is to talk about it. Number 1 is to talk about it. We've been brought up in a society where it's a taboo to talk about anything and your problems. And it would be great if we could teach people and tell people that to actually talk about whatever the subject is. Don't worry about what people think, because worrying about what people think all adds to it. Things. You've got to really, the reason I say talk about it is because you will find like-minded people that have been through a particular piece of their life which will relate to you and be beneficial to you. You'll never find that out if you don't talk about it. And if you held in, and you hold it all in within yourself, and you don't ever let yourself talk about it, you're never going to get yourself out.
No.
Now, the other thing, of course, is when someone sits down with someone and they talk to them about depression, and they spend a bit of time with them, and they give them some advice, and they say, you should do this, you should do that. That's all very well, but some people need their hands held.
Yeah.
They need their hand held. They need pulling all the way. You can't just give them a load of advice, say thank you very much, see you later. You've got to be there to hold their hand and show them what you mean. You know, it's no good being, you know, saying, well, I know all about this, I know all about that. Well, that's all well and good, but you've got to be able to pick that phone up. And you've got to be able to pick that phone up and say, how you doing? How you getting on? How'd you get on since we last spoke? Have you done anything? Have you done this? Have you done that? And even though that sounds like nagging, and they perhaps don't want that, it's not good for them, they might not think it's good for them, it is. Because it's the only way you're ever going to pull them out.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
It's, you know? Okay, so, okay, we're all on a journey. So, yeah, that's why you've got to ask, that's why you've got to talk. We are all on a journey, all got our own journey. And sometimes on that journey, you need a hand, you need help.
Yeah.
You know, you do need help, and there's just no two ways about it. You need help. What I've seen with depression is that you can't just leave people just to get on with it. You know, they need help, and don't be afraid to ask, because, as I said earlier, people have had that experience and may very well help you. Right, listen to experiences. What I just said. Call friends. You know, call friends. If you've got friends on the phone, call them. Don't worry about them calling you. Let's not have this thing where, oh, they haven't called me for a little while. They haven't called me for a little while. We'll ring them. And same vice versa. You know, if you spoke to them a week ago and you haven't heard from them for a week, then call them and just say, how you getting on? What's happening? What's the latest? You know, it might be repeating themselves, but that's what's needed. It's what's needed is to let them know that someone's there watching, got their back. If they haven't, you know, if they haven't got that support, how are you going to get any better? Okay, so call friends, make new friends. Now, this is a good one. They're making new friends. Oh, wow, this is a massive subject, because something I spoke to someone about, and going off tangent a bit, but it's a little bit with it. So let's just say an overweight person can't lose their weight. They've got to a certain point and they can't lose that weight. And they've got friends who are in the same bracket who are overweight as well. And they tend to talk to them and they go, oh, guess what? I found this new idea. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Well, that friend turns around and goes, how do you know that's going to work? How do you know that's going to, you know, be any good for you, whatever. So that friend, in effect, is pulling you back. This so-called friend is pulling you back. And they're sort of a bit overweight themselves, so they're thinking to themselves, don't want you getting better than me. Do you know what I mean? So they're always going to put you off of what you think might be good for you. And as controversial as this might sound, get new friends. Because it is controversial. I know it is, you know, but the thing is, if you're surrounding yourself, it's like if you want to be happy, surround yourself with happy people. If you want to be miserable, surround yourself with miserable people. If you want to be a slimmer person, surround yourself with slimmer people. If you want to be healthier, get with healthier people, and so on and so on. You know, there's no hard and fast rules. And, you know, education says, oh, well, you know, I'll find comfort in someone that's in the same situation as me, because I don't have to try, because they're in the same boat, and they'll do whatever they can to keep you where they are. They won't want to see you get any better. Again, this is where depression comes in, because, you know, between a rock and a hard place, you don't want to upset your friends, you don't want to progress this, blah, blah, blah. So what do I do? Oh, I don't know. And you just sit and stew. So again, don't be frightened to lose friends. This is another thing. Don't be frightened to lose friends, because, you know, as you get older, as you become awake, and as you learn things, you'll find that certain friends are no use to you anymore. You know, so going out and socialising, finding other friends and things like that will be good for you in the long term. You know, people that are like-minded, even if you're in a depressed state, all right, it's not quite right, but find other depressed people that have had your experiences and how they've found it, how they've got out. Find those kind of people. You know, we are all here to help each other, basically is what I'm saying. Right, make new friends, yeah. Yeah, and don't be afraid to lose friends. That's my notes, and that's my take on it. And yeah, controversial. People will say, oh, you make it look like it's clean cut and clear cut, which I do. I do make it look like it's clear cut, because I've seen these experiences. And it does. I'm sorry, I'm a man, I suppose, but hey, it's that fact that I see it how it is. And I think one of the things I've learned in recent months is honesty. Honesty is the key. It's absolute honesty. You know, you can't be a good friend if you can't be honest. It's as simple as that. If you can't say what you need to say with that person, then you can't be a good friend. You should be able to say that. You know, and you should be able to say what you feel, and that person should be able to take that on board as good advice, as proper advice, not catty or stupid or anything like that. This is advice that you should be able to give without worrying about it. You know, you're not doing it out of malice. You're doing it out of wanting what's best for them. And that person, when they take that, they've got to take that on board and go, yeah, they've got my best interests. I trust them, and that's it. And I think that's where we need to be. We've spent far too much time worrying about what people think. Anyway, so moving on to what we spoke about in the past, and there's this book that I want to introduce everybody to, and I don't take any credit for this book whatsoever because it's fantastic. Is this backwards, by the way?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did try and turn the camera around, but I don't, you know, this will go around the back, but I'm not, but I'll explain it. It's Metaphysical Anatomy by Evette Rose. It's a thick book, and there's loads of ailments in this book, loads of them, absolutely loads. And from tonight, I would expect people to be able to come to me and say, oh, I've got this problem, I've got this problem. I'll look it up in this book, and I will give you some pointers. Not me, actually. The book will give you some pointers, and you'll go, wow, yeah, that really resonates. That's what it's about. I have actually introduced this book to you, haven't I, Raz? And I think, really, with what I've sent you these pages, I haven't had a chance to talk to you about it yet. Did you read the pages yourself?
Today? Yeah, I'm just trying to think. With this,
well, look, I'm going
retrograde, the heads.
Okay, look, rather than try and go on your memory, as I said, I told you I'm going to re-scrape the book tonight, so that people can listen to what this book's got to say. And what I would like is a bit of feedback from people as to what they think and whether it resonates with them. And then it's got pointers in the book, everybody, where they may apply to you and they may not. You may want to use them, you may not. It's one of those kind of things. But what I have found 90% of the time when I've introduced this book to someone who's got an ailment of some sort, or know someone has got an ailment, that when I start reading from this book, they go, blooming hell, that's them. And you think, I've had Alzheimer's, I've had breast cancer, I've looked up, cancers in general, I've looked up, and it really resonates with the person that's suffering with that ailment. So, right, okay, so moving on. Okay, so this is how it comes. I'm just going to put that there. And on that title, it says depression. And I'm going to read that. You're going to try not to be too boring. I'm going to try and break away, but obviously not too much. But people that know people that are suffering with depression, it's well worth listening to. Depression is a condition that can affect a person's appetite and sleeping patterns. Well, we know that. It affects the way you feel about yourself. It also affects the way you process information and emotions. Being in a depressive state is not always just a passing mood, nor should it be seen as a sign of personal weakness. You have disconnected from your passion in life and lost sight of your own personal journey and life purpose. This is what happens, you know, that's what happens. Depression is seen as a condition where you experience moods, loss of interest or pleasure, feelings of guilt or low self-worth. There are also disturbed sleep patterns or appetite, low energy and poor concentration. This condition often leads to chronic illnesses, weight gain, anorexia, isolation, and lack of interaction with people. Hence what I said earlier. You may be easily overwhelmed and find it challenging to hold conversations. You often feel like crying, act irritably, have suicidal thoughts and feel empty and alone. You may either sleep too much or too little. Negative thoughts may be dominating your thinking patterns, making it difficult to concentrate. You may be feeling helpless and hopeless, full of self-loathing. It is important to take note of your diet as well. And that's a very interesting thing, diet. Good diets can do wonders for people who feel depressed. A person who suffers from depression often loves junk food or comfort food. It's a way of finding comfort when you need a boost or a quick fix. Cravings for foods such as pasta and chocolate are very common. As explained in the first book, which is Find Your Own Voice, this again was by Evette Rose, worth exploring the person's mirror neurons. These neurons are located in the frontal lobes of the brain. This is where people share information between each other without needing to verbally communicate, similar to mind reading. A person can look at someone and they can sense whether the other person is going through a hard time or they feel happy. That is because their emotions and thoughts are being projected by the mirror neurons. The person who is the receiver will recognize the person's state of mind because they could be left with a feeling of stress or confusion. So how often have you been with someone, you leave them and you're feeling just as bad as they are because what you've done, you've taken their energy and their depression, you've taken it with you. Now that's funny because I've seen that myself. You know, you'll be with someone, you listen to them and you listen to them and you listen to them. It's an energy transfer. It's where the energy's been transferred from them to you. They're actually feeling a little bit better. Wonderful. Yeah, exactly. They're as high as a kite, but you're going down the road going, "Oh, blimey, that was hard work." Yeah. But you being not in a depressed state can shove it off and get rid of it as long as you don't, you know, go down that same route. But this is what I said about friendships. You know, having friends where you can do that, and that person being of the stronger person will be the one that can take that little bit, go away, get rid of it, and the person feels a bit better for a little while. But this can only go on until you recognise what's actually caused it. Otherwise, you just carry on doing that, and it's just like a never-ending circle. Okay, so where are we? Okay, people who suffer from depression may suffer from fatigued mirror neurons. Their neurons' pathways always feel slow and sluggish. When a person switches off certain aspects about themselves, over time it will start to reflect, of certain aspects of themselves, over time it will start to reflect throughout their emotional and mental state as well as their physical body. Oh wow, blimey. This gets me on to cancers and people that suffer from cancer, because when the body's had enough of this depressed state and nothing's being done and it just carries on and you're pushing through and you're pushing through, the body gives you signals. It'll give you an illness, it'll give you an aching stomach or chest pains or anything like that, and you go to the doctor and you can't find nothing. This is your body's way of telling you that I've got a problem or you've got a problem and I'm fed up with handling it. Yeah. Now, the ultimate at the end of the day is if this carries on and even into years, it's when cancer comes in. It's when, like, the body says, right, ultimate switch, I've had enough, now bang. Now, we all carry these genes, so they say, but I'm not too sure about that, but we can bring on our own cancers, believe it or not. And it's been proven, so I'm not talking out my bum. It has been proven that, you know, you can bring on cancer yourself and these illnesses through your mind and through your depression and so on. Okay, so then it goes on to emotions, and it says, you seem to feel hopeless and useless, misunderstood by the people around you. It feels like you've been kicked out of the community circle and you feel devalued. You are struggling with internalized anger and may find that existing infections in your body, often intestines, can flare up quickly due to the anger that is always lurking in the unconscious mind. So as I said, it starts with, I don't know, stomach problems, going to the toilets and things like that. You can secretly be judgmental about other people's lives, projecting your bitterness about what is missing in your life. You may project a facade that is opposite of being depressed. You want to hide how you feel, as you do not want others to see your feelings of shame and guilt. You feel as if no one is allowed to see you for who you are. You may feel that people only notice you when you behave in a certain way. You might feel that it's safer to make passive decisions rather than to contemplate positive consequences. This could create more problems, pushing you further into a depressed state. A person who has been depressed for a long period of time often recreates circumstances that would make them feel depressed all over again. You may unconsciously revert back to a state that kept you safe from stressful circumstances. Depression is another long-term form of disassociation. When you experience certain emotions for long periods of time and move into a state of detachment, then you may become accustomed to it. It becomes part of your lifestyle. Disassociating becomes a familiar feeling that you start to feel comfortable with. So again, you're getting deeper and deeper and deeper. You can't even get out. You don't know how to get out because you're so used to it. You're playing this game every day. And you often feel that you have no. Pardon? Becomes the norm. Becomes the norm. Yeah, exactly. And that's why people, you know, and then that's where you're in this never-ending bubble of like, why is this? Why is that? Why do I feel like this? Why do I feel like that? And you just don't know because you've just so far down. And even people on the outside don't know because you've managed to do this to yourself. But the people on the outside are the ones that need just as much advice as the person that's depressed. You often feel that you have no purpose and passion in life. You are doing things that are taking you further and further away from what you really want. The more out of sight your passion and goals are, the more depressed you become. This can also be a natural chemical imbalance. Again, that's another thing. Imbalance that might be caused by high levels of stress during conception stages. This is obviously in the womb. Yeah, this goes right back what we spoke about with trauma. Yeah, this could go right back to when the baby or the fetus is in the womb, mum's going through a bit of stress, whatever, and that baby feels that stress for all its life. It's pushed into its DNA.
Yeah.
That's sad, you know. Right, yeah, right. You are very territorial with the goal of reclaiming your power and sense of belonging. You feel pushed aside and excluded from a family and any decision-making process. Decisions were made that had a direct impact on you. However, you were not included in the process. You feel unable to claim your identity, which has been suppressed and disregarded by others. You feel obligated to obey others and feel powerless to stand your ground, making you feel like a failure. This condition could also be the result of abuse, rejection, or abandonment trauma. Massive. Massive, massive. Right. So what this does, what this book does, it gives you pointers. I'll pick out a few rather than going, but this is what you would do, or I would do, or what you should do when you're sitting with them, sitting with the person that's depressed. And these points are, they're called key points. When did the depression start? So the key point is, when did you first feel depressed? What do you think kicked it off? What was the main thing? You know, was it someone that died? Was it the lack of money? Was it the bad job, bad relationship, whatever? What actually kicked it off? Are you still in that relationship? Which is obviously, if you're still in that relationship, you're still going to keep that depressive state. Are you still in that job? You're still going to keep that depressive state. You know, grief and stuff like that. Well, then you might need counselling. You know, you can't keep just living with it. You've got to find a way of getting someone to listen to you and how you feel about the situation. So that's that. What happened during this time? When did you get to the bottom? When did you get to the bottom? Now that's okay. So there was a technique I watched once by Till Swan, and she had one of her colleagues. I don't know if I might have told you. I'll repeat it anyway. Where that person was sitting with her, and she says, right, so, and this person was putting more and more stuff in front, you know, more and more things. Why do you feel like that? I feel like this because of this. Why do you feel like that because of that? And it's just lower and lower until she could find no more. It was a very interesting thing. And it got to the right. So what else have you got? Well, nothing else. Well, you hit bottom then, haven't you? Once you've hit bottom and you can't find nothing else, the only way's up. And that's like the counselling thing. That's where, you know, you sit with a counsellor or someone that's prepared to go through that and read that word for word and go, right, okay, so what have you done about this then? What have you done about that? Why have you like this? And they go, oh, well, and the next thing you know, they're at this bottom, like in this bottomless pit, and it's like, well, I can't go down anymore. Well, that's as far as you're going to go.
Yeah.
Can't get any worse. So that's it, and that's what you've been afraid of. And all of a sudden, it's like, boom. Okay, so where do we go from here? Well, there we go. So we can start thinking, we've been to the bottom now, we've been to the worst place. But it's that time taken that doctors don't seem to find that person needs. That's just one key point. Explore similar emotions as well as during the fertilization stages. Well, you wouldn't know about that. You'd have to ask your parents. Explore unresolved issues between the child and parent that may still be upsetting you. So again, someone might be sitting there still procrastinating about something that happened to them in their childhood. And what happens then is if they're in a relationship, this relationship then triggers this thing that happened in their childhood. And that's when that can put them in that state, because someone said something that happened 30 years ago, and all of a sudden, you know, how can I put this? And dare I say it, abuse. You know, so sexual abuse even, you know, you put it behind you, put it right behind you, you know, you got depressed about it, but as soon as you hear of something, boom, there's your trigger, you know, so you're back into it. Right, this could also include feelings of overlooked, not getting enough love or nurturing, being treated in an unfair way, feeling rejected or feeling unsafe. How did that make you feel? You might reject any form of support because you have found a way to cope on your own. Any change in your coping skills might weaken you and cause you to be vulnerable to more abuse. Yeah, so you put up your defences. Often you have found a way to live with depression and the familiar negative feelings and may not want to move away from it. You fear any change that might upset your already upset state of mind. How is your way of being happy benefiting you? So, you know, this goes right into, you know, making you think, making the depressed person think, you know, coming out of their situation. There's so many here, and if anybody was interested or knows anybody that's depressed that, you know, and they want to go to this, I can send pictures of these pages to you through WhatsApp, and you can, if you feel brave enough, sit with that person and go through these things, especially if you're a good friend. Trauma related to hormonal levels during womb stages. Again, yeah, I mean, massive, especially with women, more so, because we've got the pituitary gland in the brain that controls the cycle. If there's an imbalance in the hormones, then, you know, you could go to bed feeling fantastic. Next day, you feel like rubbish, purely because there's been a hormonal change overnight. It can just do that. And do you know, the worst thing about that is that when you get up and you're saying, oh, why do I feel like this? Why do I feel like that? Of course you're going to go into depression. Of course you're going to be anxious. The anxiety kicks in because you don't know what the hell just went on. What happened? You don't know. You know, that is the biggest kicker, because it's like, well, now you know there's hormones that play a part in this. Then you think to yourself, well, hold on a minute. So what can I do about that? And that's where diet comes in, because diet itself is, and the foods that you eat are the things that govern your hormones to a certain point. You know, and if you're not getting the right food, you're eating plenty of junk food or processed foods and stuff like that, you're not getting the nutrition that you need. So your body's also suffering, and not getting the chemicals that it needs to make and process, like a factory. And it can't process what it needs to process to give you what you need. So, because certain parts of the factory have to close down. One way of putting it. And so these little adjustments happen overnight, and it's like you get up and, well, why haven't I got this energy? Why can't I do this? I could do it yesterday, but I can't today. Purely because you need to, there's so many aspects of this and depression that you need to explore for a person, you know, and some of them can be really, really simple. Like, for instance, certain times of the month, like for women especially, you have a certain supplement. You know, the third week of that, the week leading up to the cycle is like, well, okay, I must get this and I must get that to boost my system, my immune system, and only take it in that week till the next month. But then, you know, so it's education. And I think in the old days when we had more natural foods, we didn't have to do that. You know, our body would normally cope with our natural stuff, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Right. Explore the ancestry line. Where was there any kind of abuse or above mentioned patterns? Explore whether there were hardships, wars, slavery, imprisonment. You know, all these things, funny enough, that this mentions: war, slavery, imprisonment, sexual or physical abuse from the ancestors. You know, they say it comes down the line. It comes down the you know what I mean, into the DNA, and so basically it's just being passed down every time there's a new child. That part of it's never been dealt with, and it'll come out and it'll resurface again if there's a trigger point, you know. Right, simple. Was your mother given an epidural or type of anesthesia during birth? If yes, then explore the trauma and how it affected the baby's emotional state. This may be related to depression from an early age, as these types of drugs often cause a baby to feel numb and disassociate from emotions.
Jesus Christ.
See what I mean? So, like, it's crazy, isn't it? Absolutely. So I think the beauty of this book is it's teaching you as a depressive that it ain't you. You know, it's not you. Don't worry about it. You know, it's one of those things where you will get out of this with the right person, right treatment, right friends. You know, you can get out of this. You know. God, blimey, you can go back to some people haven't got their parents to ask, but sometimes even going back and talking to your parents about this particular situation, you know, that I keep feeling like this, I keep feeling like that, and I've just read this book, and what do you think, Mum? Do you think, did anything happen to you at that stage that might be relevant? And Mum might come out with something, and you go, oh, flipping hell, that makes a difference, because it says in that book, that's my, now I'm not being funny, but as soon as you know that, the healing starts.
Yeah.
soon as you know what may have caused it, the healing starts. It's like, you know, oh, one of my questions has been answered. Oh, wow. It's time to move on because there's nothing I can do about that. If that was my mum's trauma at the time, there's nothing I can do about that. So I can perhaps leave that alone now. Maybe I'll be able to move on. And yes, sure enough, you might still get these points that come on once a month or wherever they come on, but at least you'll be able to handle it and go, oh, I know what that is. I know why I feel like that. And that is the key. It's knowledge. And again, talking to people. If we weren't talking tonight, people wouldn't know about this book, and someone somewhere will still be sitting in the same old place, the same old stupor, and not know. Whereas what's in this book is just such a wealth of information that I personally would throw this book at any person, right, and give it to every person in the world.
Yeah.
Because it is such an eye opener, and it's such a wow, flipping hell, it opens yourself to yourself.
Yeah.
Crikey, can I really feel like that? Can I really suffer like that? My God, is that really relevant to me? And you'll find that most of the time, living is. Especially on that. And again, there's so much on here. Look, so much. The egg and sperm, conception, face, feel unloved, explore. See, and again, if you sat there with someone and you was that bad and you got to that point, you would find something that related to you. I guarantee it. So that's where I am with that.
Sorry.
So again.
No, I was going to say it's whether that person's ready to talk as well, because sometimes depressed people don't want to open up. You know.
No, that's right. You have to build a trust.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, again, from my point of view, have I got the time to listen to that person?
Yeah.
You know, and again, with any person, any friend of yours, relationship, you know, have I got the time? And I think sometimes you have to find the time. If you care about them enough, you find the time. You know, that's why family is important. You know, because family's like, you know, the family is more, you know, more than friends, because family goes, hang on a bit, we've got someone who's really close to us that's not 100%. And that's when people that care will rally around that person and go, well, so what's the problem? All right, they can't tell you right away, they probably can't, but one of the family will persevere and go, well, I've got a bit of time. And that's where it starts. That's where the healing starts. You know, not just to leave them on their own. You just ring up every now and again. How you doing? What's going on? You know, have you done this? Did you do what you said you was going to do? You know, just without being nagging.
Have you been in the shower? Have you eaten?
Yeah, the simplest things. Yeah, exactly. Because again, just the change of environment is enough. You know, just to let's go down the park and have something to eat in the cafe or whatever, and on the way to the park, a cat runs out in front of the car, and it's like, wow, did you see that? Whatever, and it's just that breaking of that bubble that they're in. You know, just that little, you know, bird in the trees, you know, whatever. That's why getting out. And again, we've had a bit of a time with COVID and stuff like that, and people haven't been able to get out, which is a bit of a shame. But we need now. I think it's helped people realise how bad we can get. You know, how bad we can get sitting in this environment, and people have been taking so much for granted. And now a lot more people have suffered from mental health issues that it's like, whoa, we've got to stop that happening.
Yeah.
And again, this book is absolutely fantastic, and I would literally, if I had all the money in the world, I'd give every household a copy of it. It's just amazing. I will next week. That's what I'm going to I think I've covered depression in as much as I can, really. I don't want to overdo it, because as I say, everybody's different, and this is just a finger pointer of what you can do. So what I'm going to do, I think, over the coming weeks is pick a subject, or if people want to pick a subject and give me a comment of an ailment that they know someone's got. It could be, and if people don't come back to me, I'll pick it, because I've got stuff in my mind I want to get out. Alzheimer's is a good one. If I read that, because, you know, we don't have to have Alzheimer's. That's amazing. When you read that book, we don't have to have it. We don't have to. There's a lot of things we don't have to have, you know, because, you know, we can do things that and see the stages and everything else. We push ourselves into these things. So if someone comes up with a comment and they want to put it on there or whatever and say, look, can we talk about this? Can we talk about that? Then we'll do that next week. If I don't get any comments, then I'll choose the subject and we'll talk about it from the book, I think, because I think it's a good way to go. Because again, it covers what you were saying about trauma and what you do, and we can then obviously talk a bit more about what we can do from this book. Yeah. Right. So, if I've not got any comments, you have any comments? I've not got any comments at the moment.
I don't even see the screen's not. It says.
Not refreshing,
No.
is it? No. So I've got no new comments on that. So I must have covered everything.
Oh, show us some love, man, and some likes. Yeah, I'm gonna do it myself.
Yeah, that's it. That's good. Exactly. That's you, isn't it? Hello. Right. Okay. So, shall we do a card pull then? Or have you got anything else to add to this? Have you got anything you want to say on this subject?
Yeah, I was just going to say depression is one of the many kind of trauma presenting issues, you know, and there's so many. And yeah, that book is amazing, because it gives you tells you what it is, what's caused, and like how it's caused, and then the fact that it goes back to the ancestral line is really important, because there's so many things that are handed down to us, and we've probably done it ourselves, handed stuff down to our children, whether it's in the DNA or whether it's in the environment as they're growing, you know, because just today I was having a conversation with a couple of people about how everything we do is learned behavior. So it's all conditioning, and it's, you know, the way we react to things, the way we walk, the way we talk, everything is all learned. Like, who are we? If we used to take all that away, that would be us, what's left. But we've got all these labels. Like, I remember when I was little, my stepdad saying that I was rude. So because he always said I was rude, self-fulfilling prophecy, innit? I became rude. Now, if you think about the word rude, what does that mean? You know, who's judging this? Who's setting the bar? Because what is rude? Because I've got an opinion, I'm rude. And because my opinion's different to yours, I'm rude. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of, we wear these labels, and then it's not until later on in life that we suddenly go, hold on, what? This is not me, you know, like, this has been given to me, but I'm taking that and I'm throwing it away, because like I need to peel back these layers and find the me, the inside me. Yeah. And
these layers come from programming. You know, that's the word, programming. It's what you've been programmed to think and how to be from your parents, and that's come from their parents, and then their parents. So, like, where a parent is, say, particularly strict, that's because that's how their parents told them that was the right way to be. And because, I come through unscathed, I'm all right, so I'm going to treat you the same. Not necessarily right, you know. And then all of a sudden, you know, this is where you've got to be the better version. So, say, for instance, this has been going on for generations, and it gets to a person that says, hang on a minute, I'm not having that. That's not me. I'm not having that anymore. I'm not going to be treated like you was and your mum was and whatever. I'm not going to be treated like that. So all of a sudden, that person is an awake person, shall we say, who says, I don't have to conform to that way. And again, I was watching Bruce Lipton today, and he said that the first 7 years of your life is where the program's installed. You know, we're sort of like basically human computers, and we come out as a brand new computer, a fresh computer, brand new, no programs, nothing, you know. And it's only what your parents program you with and load your computer up with in the first 7 years, because you don't know how to read, don't know how to write, so you can't question it. So you're just doing exactly what you're told. So you know, so all this has been programmed into you. So because this just goes on through your life, this is your program. So when you get to your 20s and 30s, because that's part of your program, you're still living that program. For instance, you will grow up and you will find a partner, you will have children or get married, you will have children, children will have children, you'll get old, you'll get into your blue rinses and stuff like that, and you'll die. And that's the program. So one of the things, you know, being part of the program, my wife, she's got long hair. And she's 60 now, and I don't want her to cut her hair off or anything like that to conform to the program. I want her to be her. And what happens? You go out and go, oh, do I look all right? Should I be doing this at my age? Should I be doing this at my age? Flipping hell, that winds me up. That really winds me up. You can do whatever you want at any age.
Yeah.
You know, it's all because everybody else has got an opinion of what you should look like at that age.
It's all
And that goes, it's not about looking, it's about everything else as well, everything else you should do in your life. You know, you should do this and you should get that job, you should get that money, you should do that. And once you've done that, that's the program, you can complete the program, well done.
Yeah,
well, hang on a minute. yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then it gets to people like nowadays, and funny enough though, the younger generation that's coming along, the people I've spoken to, like in their 20s, are a bit wiser, if I'm not, you know, I think they're a bit wiser, they understand it. And I think that's because we've got social media and stuff like that now. We've got Tracy Hills. Hello, Tracy. So she'd be up for a card, and Lily's for a card. Hang on, what we got here? Sarah's put, I'm finding that a hell of a lot of people have depression at the moment. I always advise counselling and antidepressants have helped me in the past. I like to think I understand me a bit better now. Well, that's right, because you've got to break down your walls. And again, people go to antidepressants. Thanks for that, Sarah. People go to antidepressants now because they've got nowhere else to go. You know, got nowhere else to go in a situation like that. It's like, well, hang on, I feel really depressed. What do I do? Oh, yeah, I listen. So, no, I don't mean this, you know. There's some tablets, you know. But sometimes people need tablets because it's their way of picking them up, really, where other people can't pick them up.
Suppresses it all, so you haven't got that overthinking.
Yeah, overthinking. Yeah. And all those questions that you haven't got answers to. You know, that's where it comes about. You're asking question after question after question. No answers are coming because no one can give them to you. And then because you're getting no answers, then the anxiety creeps in and everything else. And then it just gets on top of you. So hence the depression moves in. And it just takes a friend or something like that to sort of help keep you on the level, you know. That's why I say we must talk to each other. Right. 100% there, Ez. So what we got here then? So shall we move on to card pulling? Are we ready, or you got? No, I'm happy talking. Have you got any more to add to that, or anybody else has?
I don't know. If anybody got any comments or anything they want to ask, or before we move on, I'm just like my Palo Santo. Get a bit, you know, about true work. Clear my energy, but yeah, it's deep, man. And then obviously you've got to reprogram it.
Subject, isn't it? It's a massive subject. It's just massive. But again, you know, certain ailments cause the depression. You know, so it's like, you know, you may not realise it, but what you're suffering with as an ailment may be causing your depression. So then maybe if we look at the ailment, the illness or whatever it is that you've got, then and deal with that, it might help you with your depression. You know, it's like a satellite thing. You know, the depression is in the middle, but all the other things, satellites are here and there, they're actually adding to it. And if you can get to any of those satellites and sort them out, then hopefully the depression might not be so bad and you can start coming out. Anyway, massive subject. Could talk about it all day, I know that, but I was literally just going to talk and give everybody a pointers, and hopefully some of what we said will be useful, and anybody watch this video in the future, it might be useful. But do feel free to ask questions and I will get back to you. If you feel that you're suffering with something that might be causing your depression, then I'll look it up for you and I'll get back to you personally. If you don't want it aired, it's not a problem. So I'm going to hand the card calling over to Raz now, and we've got Lily. We're going to use Tracy. Yeah, okay.
The order, because otherwise I'm going to get lost. Right, so we've got Lily, Tracy,
and
Lorraine. That's my.
Who's Lorraine? Do you know Lorraine?
Yeah, she's my my bestie.
Okay, so should we do Lorraine last? So we do 3.
Yeah. Well, we can do as many
all
as
right. Okay then. All right. We did have a request from Avril last night, who might see this later on, maybe. I don't know. So we'll leave that one to last. We'll see how much time we've got, because I don't want to draw out for long, but it's up to you. If you're quite happy, then we'll crack on. So we'll do Lily first, shall we?
Yeah.
And we will do, we will do Tracy Hills. Yeah, she'll be second. Tracy will be second. Lily first. And then what we got here, that Lorraine third, yeah?
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to hand it over to you then. I'll sit here and listen. Look and learn, as they say. Hurry up.
Yeah, look,
No pressure. Done my bit.
Yeah, it's true. Hold on, I've got cards are crazy. All the decks, this happens to me all the time, you know. I'll go over there and I'll go, right, what am I feeling tonight? All the boxes of cards I've got, and I pick 2 decks, and
yeah,
I really like cards, but I don't think they want to play tonight. See whether they're giving me something or half the deck. Right. I need to clear them actually. Sometimes. Right, here we go. Oh. Right, Lily, straight away I'm picking up on a grandmother energy. She's coming fast. She's coming in fast. Few heart palpitations here. Hold on a minute. Whew.
Take your time, Ray. Take your time.
Yeah, this is what happens. They come in really fast and then just mess me up. Like the grandmother. I'm feeling like she's been trying to tell you something, like get your attention on something. I feel like there's a decision that needs to be made around you, and I don't feel like you've got all the facts. I feel like whatever it is, don't be in such a rush to make it. Really think about it, look at everything, decide, like weigh up all the pros and cons before you go ahead with it. Because I think if you rush it, it's going to be the wrong thing. Yep, that's what she wanted to say. She's just standing here now. So the other thing I've got is self-reflection. Nice card, isn't it? Okay. So I feel like this is about, I'm getting self-love around you, confidence. I feel like you need to spend more time with you, like no one else. You need to kind of sort out your time and have some pamper time for you and explore interest and I'm hearing hobbies, like maybe there's stuff that you used to do and you don't do anymore, or there's stuff that you want to do and you just like can't fit it in at the moment. But what I'm seeing is this is about you. So it's about your journey. So it's about you exploring you looking at you. Even if that's like inner work, there's something that you need to do. And I am feeling the self-love around you. Like you really need to work on this and build your confidence. Because I feel like there's a bit of, there's times when you really want to say something and you might not say it all. You either start and you stop, or you don't say anything, and then later on you're like, maybe I should have said something. And I feel like if you do this work on you, it's going to give you the confidence to just say, look, just share your opinion. It doesn't matter, innit? Please or offend. That's what it's about. Yep, that's that. Thank you.
Right.
That's how spirit can't tell. Doing these channeling, man, it just runs in and out.
Maybe that fall into place.
Yeah. I just want to clear the energy. Right, Tracy. Okay. Tracy. Yet. Give me a minute. Down. Right. God, give me the whole pack. It's got crazy tonight. Oh, come on. Oh. Oh my God, the whole deck, you know. Sorry, people. Someone's playing. I tell you. Anyway.
Where have you got to tell Tracy you don't want to know?
The whole deck. At least I got the 2 cards out. But oh, look, what is going on? Stop it. Stop it. I was Tracy, I've got a man coming around you in spirit. This man, it feels like quite a tall man, actually. Hold on. Sorry. This can only happen when you're doing a live. Right, so this man.
I like the way spirits play with you, Red.
I tell you, they do this all the time. No, my life. I feel like, again, this man is around you a lot. I feel like I call them shadow ninjas, you know, like at the corner of your eye when you see something and you turn around and there's no one there, but you know you've seen something. So that's what I'm seeing with this guy. I'm seeing lights flickering. Things are being moved around. He's proper trying to get your attention, big time. You might even see him occasionally. I feel like this is like, I don't know if it's father or grandfather, it might be a grandfather, but it feels like he's a guide. He's your guide. And he is, he's helping you on your path. And I feel like, okay, so let's go to the cards and more will come. So we've got acceptance. That feels like an acceptance. I mean, there's loads of stuff coming up in this card, but it feels like, I want to say, an acceptance of, doesn't feel like death. Sometimes it's death, isn't it? But it's not an acceptance of death. This feels like an acceptance of a situation. So whether it's a breakdown that's happened in a relationship and like you've got to the stage where you're just so over it, you're just going to accept it, or a work situation, it feels like you've come into terms with something that's going on around you. And this has been going on for a while. It's not something that's just happened overnight. This is something that's been going on. And I feel like you've exhausted all options and it's like enough is enough. And if you look in this card, wait, where is it? It's where the moon is, but it's forming as a person. And this feels like I said, like this man that's in spirit, it feels like he's there and he was almost trying to open your eyes to what was going on. So there could have been a bit of denial about what was happening. And he was trying to show you, look, open your eyes and see it for what it is. I kind of feel like once you fully let go of that, and that goes up into love and light, I feel like there's a clearing and the path feels easy, feels like it's smooth. So whatever it is you're doing is going to be a smooth run with opportunities. There's doors of opportunity that will open up for you. 3 to 6 months, I'm hearing. And then the second card that I pulled for you was gratitude. So I kind of feel like at the moment, even like there might be times when you think, oh yeah, I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for that. And then there's times when you're not even acknowledging, and that could be whatever's going on. But please, please, the only way to be in the flow of abundance is to be grateful for everything. And I'm not saying that you should do daily lists, because sometimes when you do daily lists, it becomes habitual. So the meaning's lost. So I don't do daily lists, but I might think things in my head as things happen. I'm just say, oh, thank you, Spirit, or thank you, Universe, whatever. And it's the little things sometimes that we forget. You know, and the fact that we open our eyes every day and our heart's beating, do you know what I mean? We've got air in our lungs and we can walk and whatever. It's just those little things. It's not always the big things. So just be aware. And if you do your gratitude regular, you will stay in that flow. You know what I mean? The flow of abundance. And it's all about gratitude and grace. You know, you give, you get, give, you get, you get. One thing before I finish with you, I want to say, stop giving too much. I feel like you give a lot and get back nothing. And that's okay to a degree, but there has to be some kind of exchange. So what I want you to do is when the rush comes and they're trying to drain you, step back and go, whoa, wait. If you can't do it, do not move things around. Do not stop what you're doing to give yourself to somebody else. Just say, I can't do it. Sorry. And it's hard. The first time you say sorry or I can't do it, they're going to be, what? What do you mean? What do you mean? But you know what? Self-care. Your health is your wealth. You look after you because no one else will. You know what I mean? So just get yourself in order and get used to saying no. Yeah? Thank you.
Brilliant. Brilliant. You're using Queen of the Moon, aren't you? Cards?
Hey? Moonology.
Those
Queen of the Moon, yeah.
Yeah, I've got them here, yeah. How weird. How weird. I recently got them. I'm so fascinated by them. Is that how yours came?
No, these are spellcasters. These are the ones that I really like that I was trying to use.
Oh,
so, yeah.
And then you got that, yeah. Yeah. Wow. A lot of energy in them because I've got them and I'm going to be using them soon. But I just think they're fantastic cards, aren't they? Hey?
You're going to use them?
Yeah, not yet. No, this is your job. I'm just getting your technique, but yeah, mine's a little bit different to yours. But that's what it's all about, isn't it? Being different. So yeah. This is your moment.
This is like, for me, it's whatever works, isn't it? Like my style's changed so much years. It changes, it comes back. Sometimes I'll just do energy. Sometimes I do just spirit. Sometimes I do both. It's what
feedback there. Thank you so much. All what you said is very true, and you have put my mind at rest. You are brilliant. There you go, Raz.
Thank you. Namaste. Right, Lo, sis, you're up. This is, what is it? The Unexpected. It's a bit dark, isn't it, that card?
It is.
I kind of feel like this is something around you. I'm trying to see if it's work or life. It might be home. I kind of feel like there's something that's going to happen that you're not expecting, and it's not dark, so don't start panicking. I don't know business. It's nothing, you know, like that's going to be like, oh my God, but it feels like it could be work. I feel like there's going to be something, you're going to get an offer for something or payment for something. That's what I feel. I feel like it's like an envelope. I'm opening this envelope and I'm reading this thing and I'm like, oh my God, wow. So look out for that. I don't really know what it is. They're not giving it to me. But it feels like a nice surprise. That's what I want to say. A nice surprise coming in the form of, this envelope. Could even be, it could even be something from uni, maybe a qualification or something, waiting to hear back from. But in general, I want to say the home feels like the chi is a lot better, like the energy flow feels better. I still feel I want to do a bit more moving around, but I know there's nowhere for it to go, sis, but I feel like I want to move stuff around a bit more and get rid of a bit more clutter, if that's possible, because it still feels a bit, I want to say heavy. That's what I've got to go with. It feels a bit heavy. But I feel like you're creating workspaces, creative spaces for you to do what you need to do, like your music and everything. And it feels it kind of feels nice. It feels like, yeah, when I'm over here, I'm doing my music. When I'm over here, I'm doing my cutting out and my, I'm going to say t-shirts. It's not just t-shirts, but that's what I'm going to say because it makes more sense. And I'm seeing writing as well. There's writing around you. So there's writing coming up around you, whether you're working on something or not, but it's coming in. So there's something you've got to do, a piece of writing. And this feels like, and it's not just like poetry and you put it down. This is a piece of writing that's going to go somewhere and do something with it. And the other thing you've got is protection. Okay. So there's two things I want you to do, and you probably do it anyway, but I want you to just really think about it when you're doing it. So because you've changed around your home, I want you to sage or Palo Santo, whatever you prefer, and I want you to go around and just do a cleansing. And these cleansings should be done regular, especially in a small space. So open your windows to allow negative energy out and stale energy out, and just go to each corner, ask any stagnant energy to be moved, send it out in love and light. Each corner, wave it around, especially around your music area and your desk, because the desk feels very formal and it feels oppressive, and that's probably because it's a work thing. So I want you to cleanse that area, because this desk area is going to be your creative space, and it can't be positively creative if it's got that oppression to it. Do you know what I mean? Because you was using it for work, so it feels like it's changed character, and you need to bring it back. The sage everywhere, clear everywhere, your home. And when people come in as well, like when people come into your home, doesn't matter who it is, friend or family, as soon as they go, get the pillow out. And it's not a bad thing. I'm not saying everybody that comes has got negative energy, but what I'm just saying is, because your space is so small, when somebody else comes in there, your energy and their energy is clashing. So whatever they've got in theirs is coming into your energy, and that can affect your moods. It can make you go up like this. You know what I mean? So if you do a quick cleanse, even of yourself, it just makes sure that there's nothing attached to you. And also, I know you always wear the crystals when you're going out, but really make sure you cleanse them as well. And make sure every time you leave the home, you've got some kind of crystal on you, because that's how you protect yourself. I mean, there's other ways you can do it. You can picture yourself in a hooded long cloak, white. So just ask for a white hooded protection cloak when you leave the house to protect your energy. Some people picture eggs, some people picture white lights, whatever works for you. You know what I mean? You got your crystal on, do your cloak, white light, whatever, step out the door, and you know that when you're out and about, even in Sainsbury's, whatever, you know how much different energies you're coming across, then you know you're safe. So, thank you.
Did see your message, Steve. I saw your message. I don't know what that is about not being able to get on. You should be able to see it now. If there's any other problems, let me know, and then I'll have a look at the settings. You might not be a member of the Apollo Healing Group. I don't know what that is, but it looks like you can see us now, which is good. Okay, are you going to do... I've noticed you haven't had any more, so you're going to do Avril, yeah.
Yeah. She's not here.
I doubt she's here, because obviously, as I say, she's in America. I don't know what time zone she's in. But if she watches this back, or I'll send her a message to watch this back about, you know, roughly what time, I'll let her know, and then obviously she can watch it. Because this one will be, we absolutely know nothing about this one, so whatever that card is going to be completely fresh, you know, so...
Yeah. Time difference, isn't it, in America?
Exactly, yeah.
She's got the path and surrender.
Right.
Avril. Right, the path. So I kind of feel like there's a few obstacles, like you're going along, but these feel like little challenges that are being presented to you. And then nothing doesn't feel major. It just feels, you know, like as if a rock was put down. You're like, oh my God. So you climb over the rock, and then you go a bit further, then there's another rock, and you go around it, and then you go a bit further, and there's another one, and you go around it again. That's how it feels. It just feels like little little hurdles to kind of, do you really want this? That's what I'm hearing. So whatever it is you're working towards, whether this is business or whether this is like your own personal goals, I feel like the universe is saying, if this is what you really want, keep putting out that intention. I feel like you might be strong with the intention and the thoughts, and then the manifestation's not happening. So it starts and then it stops, it starts and it stops. So that's why the hurdles are there. And that could be a thing of self-doubt. So you could be working on something, going for it, and then all of a sudden you go, oh my God, I don't know if this is going to happen, supposing this and supposing that. And as soon as you plant that seed of doubt, boom, you hit a brick wall. So the path, yeah, a little bit rocky, but it kind of, I feel like if you look, there's a ladder, and then this is like where you need to be. So I'd put you like somewhere here. So you're not far from it. But I mean, you know, in distance, that could be like, that could seem like a week, but it could be a month, you know, who knows? But I just kind of, I want you to be aware. So anytime you hit a little rock, take a deep breath and just go over, around, under, whatever you need to do. But know that this is not a major problem, and it's not going to stop you. It's just, for me, it's like removing that doubt. So when you catch yourself thinking of like, oh my God, this ain't going to happen, or supposing this, put a cross through it. Just put a cross through it and send it back to the universe. Like, no, there's no doubt. You can do this. You know, you believe in you. And a surrender. And this, for me, backs up what I was saying. So when you have anybody, this is when you're manifesting, you set your intention. Like some people write it down, some people just say it, whatever, and you put it out to the universe. Let it go. Because if you say, like, you're out there on a new moon manifesting, 2 days later you're sitting there going, yeah, I really want this to what you've already tried to manifest. You're not surrendering it to the universe. So the universe has received your request, and they're like, okay, we're going to do this. And then the next thing, you're still talking about it. I wonder if, yeah, I really want that. How am I going to get it? Did it. And they're like, oh, what do we do now? So remember, as hard as it is, and this is hard, even when you've got your visionary balls, do you know what I mean? You're looking at what it is you want. You're drawing it to you. But when you're manifesting the life you want and co-creating it, write it down, you say it, you burn it, or whatever your way is, and let it go. And it is hard because it's up here. But if you catch yourself thinking about it, like, oh, I want that, I don't know, 1.2 million mansion down the road, you know what I mean? Like that, I'm going to get that. But you keep worrying about how you're going to get it, putting blockages in the way. Because you're saying to the universe, I don't deserve this, I'm not worthy. Whereas what you need to say is, you know what, universe, I need 1.7 million to buy the mansion down the road. There you go. Let it go. Just get on with your life. Next thing, something happens, there's your 1.7 million to buy your mansion. It's not for us to question how it's going to happen. Just trust that the universe is going to bring you what you're deserving of and what you feel worthy of, innit? You have to be worthy. If you don't feel you deserve the life that you're living, it will be taken away from you. So buy into you, believe in you, and trust that everything's going to work out. Thank you.
Brilliant. Well done, Rez. So,
thank you.
I've run a little bit tonight, which is good because obviously I'd expect it to be like that with, you know, as the interest builds and the readings get stronger, then I expect it to go on a bit longer, which is good. Hopefully Avril will find that. I'll send her a message tomorrow to say where it is and she can have a look at that and hopefully we'll get a feedback. So if it's all right with you, we'll wind it up tonight. What we'll do, as I said, next week, well, if no one gives me an ailment or anything to pick on, you know, someone's got an illness that they want us to look up, which we can talk about. If they don't by next week, then I'll pick something and we'll use that as our subject matter. And we'll carry on with our readings. You happy with that? The way today, that was good, wasn't it? Yeah, we'll do that again. So we'll repeat it again next Wednesday if everybody's all right with that. So on that note, we'll finish that there, Rez. Is that all right with you?
Yeah.
Thanks very much, by the way. That was brilliant. Thank you. It's great having you on. Great having you on. Nice conversation. So until next week then, see you later. All right. Bye for now. Bye, everyone.